Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon to everyone present here for the official debate for the presidential and vice presidential role for the ASB 2026. I'm Vianney Tony, the SAC chairman, and I'll be a moderator for this evening's proceedings. Before we officially begin, I would like to welcome Pastor Lafleur as he gives opening remarks for this debate.
So, pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I am so delighted to be here. And Mr. Tony said he's the president of SAC. SAC is the Student Advisory Council. And that body regulates the elections process all across the various clubs, etc. Well, I'm so happy to see the debate this afternoon, and it is my hope that what comes out of the debate serves to satisfy the craving and longing of the student body. And so, Ms. Farrell and Ms. Hernandez, I wish you luck, and I have great expectations of you. Mr. Belfort and Mr. Oxley, I also wish you luck, and I have great expectations of you. Mr. Headley and Mr. Aline. Mr. Aline is a great debater. I wish you luck as well. Know that you have a number of students looking on and past students of the institution. And as I carefully follow this debate in a remote location, I hope I'll take careful notes of what you will share. So God's blessings and thanks again. I think this year, SAC has done a tremendous job. I think they have done a tremendous job. When I took my time and I looked back at the dormitory debates, I think it was groundbreaking. So, I look forward, and may God bless you richly.
All right, so I will give my official start to this debate. So I am Vianney Tony, the SAC chairman, and as Pastor Lafleur would have mentioned, SAC is in charge of the general ASB elections and overall proceedings of the ASB. Right, our role is specifically for elections and general performance after elections. So today we have 7 candidates up for the role of president and vice president in this year's election. We have on my far right, you know what, I'll have them give their general introduction. But we have Team Spare, Team Impact, Team Rebuild, and our independent candidate representing United Encore. In total, we have 46 candidates vying for this year's elections, which will open on April 30th at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. It is open to all registered students of this institution. Whether you registered from last year, this year, it's open to you. Once you receive the link to vote, please ensure you exercise your right to select and elect your next ASB reps. All right? So today we're not just listening to just debating and speeches and all of those things. We are evaluating vision, character, leadership, and action. This platform right here allows our candidates to demonstrate not only why they desire to lead, but also how they intend to serve you, the students. Each candidate will be given equal opportunity to respond. We will ask the audience to remain respectful by allowing each candidate to respond in full and let them feel the support by everyone in this room and online. So as we had already begun our debate with prayer before we officially started the live, we will jump right into introductions. So I invite you to welcome as we welcome Mr. Dwayne Headley and Mr. Ezekiel Oxley for Vice President, sorry. So Mr. Lemar is joining us via Zoom, as you guys can see, as he's not on the island. And we have our remaining 6 candidates who will work individually, as teams, generally, whatever it may be, for this debate. Rules and guidelines for today's proceedings. Each person will receive 2 minutes to answer their desired questions. Once the timer starts, you will hear the bell. A bit louder. And when time is up, you will hear the bell again. All right? Don't allow the bell to stop you immediately in your tracks. You can still answer your questions even after. Remember, you're giving a response, not a speech. You have 2 minutes to make it concise, make it direct, and make it, well, sweet. All right, good. So there are 8 parts to this debate, and each round have their specific questions. There's the presidential questions for the president only, candidates only. There's the VP question for the VPs only. There's a team questions, and there's general questions that students would have submitted over the past few days. So we were introduced to our candidates on April 9th, 2026. In total, we had close to 200 persons who submitted nominations for elections this year. And I must say that's a tremendous achievement that we have students being more interested in being a part of this year's ASB. All right, so I will have our candidates give their full introduction, which includes, right, your full name, region you're representing or country representing, program of study, year of study, and then we flow into the general questions from there. So we start from Dwayne, come right over. Then Mari, you will go last. All right?
All right, my name is Dwayne Headley. Which country I'm representing? I'm representing Central Shop. I am a year 3, and I am representing Team Spare.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark. My name is Mark Allen. I am a 3rd-year computer science major. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm representing Team Spare.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jamal Belfon from the Isle of Spice and Everything Nice, which is obviously Grenada. And I am a 4th-year theology student with a minor in psychology, the presidential candidate from Team Rebuild.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Ezekiel Oxley. I'm representing Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a 2nd-year psychology student. I'm running under the team United Encore, running for vice president. Let me just say what United Encore means. United Encore is coming together again to deliver something strong, impactful, and better than before. This carries a sense of unity and continuity. As we enter into the centennial year next year, I plan to bring the entirety of USC beyond excellence.
Testing. Good day, everyone. My name is Alyssa Farrell James. I am representing the island of Trinidad and Tobago, the land of soca and calypso, some might say, and I am your VP candidate for Team Impact.
Good day, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Calissa Hernandez. I'm a 3rd-year SOSI student studying psychology, and I am from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago, and I am a presidential candidate for Team Impact.
The Mario.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Limario Academia from the land of 365 beaches, Antigua and Barbuda. I am a second year accounting major, and I am your vice presidential candidate for Team Rebuild.
All right. So as you can clearly see, we have a mixture of persons on the panel today. So candidates, these are your first questions that you will answer, giving a general overview of who you are as an individual. So each person will answer the question 2 minutes per person, right? Good. So candidates, what qualities make you equipped to serve as a student leader? And with that question, you will let us know what has your campus life and involvement been like, and why should students trust you with leadership? One more time. What qualities make you equipped to serve as a student leader? What has your campus life and involvement been like? And why should students trust you with leadership? Dwayne, you start first. Yeah, you have some time to think as well if you want time to think. That's also.
Just give me a quick moment.
Students who are present online and currently here, you can submit all questions you may have during the debate to Ms. Afia Cunningham Gibbs Cunningham, correct if I'm correct. You can give her all your questions that you may have during the debate as well. Or Josiah, we really want to do that. Beautiful.
All right, thank you for the question. So what qualities do I have that make me a fit student leader? I am proactive, I am personable, responsible, I am also resourceful and skilled. I'm not sure if you guys saw the campaign as well. You noticed the consistent branding of Spare. That was a testament to not only my skill, but my quality of bringing people together of different personalities, backgrounds, and so on. Regarding my involvement on campus, I would have served as the men's club president and on the ASB. Currently, I work as the visual, graphic designer at MC. And so I have a firm grasp on how internal communication works, external communication works when it comes to the administration. Why should students trust me? Coming into this campaign, we would have already delivered one of three things, that being the AI chatbot. That took a lot of work and dedication from the team. And yeah, I also think students should trust me because based on the what we've shown so far in our campaign as well. And yeah, that is how I would answer your question.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Mark?
Hello? Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Mark Allen. A lot of you may not have seen me before, and that's because I only recently started getting more involved in campus activities. That being, I wasn't really sure I could contribute before as a computer science major, but through 18 months of professional experience in the financial industry, being the project manager at Virtual and leading and executing on the Open Day and Career Expo event, and as our upcoming Shuttle Up Data Analytics Officer, I've had a lot of time to take these skills and knowledge I've acquired over the past 3 years and find ways to apply it to solving actual campus problems. In terms of why I think you should trust me, I'm not just here giving empty promises. I submitted an idea to the USC Brilliant Idea Competition last year in November to automate people processes on campus and save over 250 hours and $15,000 annually each year for our campus. So that money and time I plan to have reinvested into the same campus initiatives that SPARE aims to have implemented. So that's why I think you should trust me. That's how I answer the question. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
All right, all right.
To answer your question, I have been very involved around campus. I started here in 2022. Coming to campus, I started as a student worker. I've worked in 3 different departments, the bookstore, the dormitory. I currently work as a ICANX student coordinator in the Office of Spiritual Development. I can say that my involvement around campus, attending so many, probably more than 20 leadership trainings, equips me with so much leadership skills, bringing persons of different personalities together. I'm a very innovative leader. I ensure that things are done on time. I am very particular in my time management. My involvement around campus equips me with the opportunity to communicate with many students, by which I am able to listen to their concerns. I find friendship groups, not just in the dormitory, but during the day, especially when students are on campus. I hang out with the commuters and many other students. Therefore, I bring to this debate great leadership skills and the experience with the administration.
Thank you very much.
Some qualities I bring to the table. Firstly, I'm open to work with all. I am also open to feedback. I believe leadership isn't a one-man's party. It's based on unity and how well we can relate with one another. I started my campus journey on the Tobago campus, Extension campus, where there wasn't much opportunity really for leadership. There isn't things in place that the campus per se could feel included in leadership. They only have chapel on a Wednesday. That's all they look forward to. I plan to bring a change, including different clubs and different events that bridges between campuses, that not only students can participate but feel like they are part of something bigger. And why you should trust me as an individual. I give you the opportunity to see my values. I am quite transparent, and I'm willing to accept your perception of me. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good day, everyone. So the first part of the question, what are some qualities? I've always been told that I have strong leadership skills in every aspect of my life where it's necessary. I'm not afraid to undertake those roles and responsibilities. As for campus life, I would say I'm very active as a commuting student, also running. It's not very common that you get to be a part of many things that the campus has to offer, and it takes great sacrifice to be a part of campus life and to curate that experience, and that's something that I would like to impact. As well as my campus involvement goes beyond that. I'm the director of social work and sociology under the club SOCI. I'm also a student worker in the events department specifically, so coordination, resource management, being able to communicate into department is something that I do almost daily, and that affects my ability, well rather impacts my ability to come before you here right now. And why students should trust me, similar to Ezekiel, I am very transparent and my life is a complete open book. Parts of my life are exposed for many students to observe, and most people who don't know me as the youngest student to get married on this campus here right now. It's something I carry very proudly, I must say.
All right.
So if I could commit to a husband, I could commit to you.
Oh, wow. Love that. That is right. That is right. Love that response. Love that response.
Hi everyone. So my qualities to serve as a good leader would be that I'm very hardworking, I'm dedicated, and I'm creative. I believe through my experience as the current director for psychology and behavioral science students in Club SOCI, I was previously on the Trinidad and Tobago Club exec. I'm currently on the PRO subcommittee, and I'm also on the vice president subcommittee for the yearbook. For this, even outside of school, I believe it's important to give back to the community and to work for students and young people. I even went ahead to out of the country to represent our country internationally on a stage for Miss Universe, as well as I'm currently a National Youth Ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago. My goal as the future president of ASB is to impact the campus so that students enjoy the environment they have, to feel safe, and be able to express themselves creatively or even academically.
Thank you. Mr. Lemario.
Good afternoon again. I have been quite involved in campus activity since stepping foot into USC, and I have been a part of many different clubs. I've served on multiple ASB subcommittees, and I have also held leadership roles, such as being the vice president of the South Leeward Conference Club. And I believe that those things have prepared me to serve you in this position of vice president once elected. And you can trust me because I have delivered in the past, and I am confident that I can apply the strategies that were used before to ensure that your campus experience is the best that it can be.
Thank you very much. All right, come on, guys, come on. Let's support our candidates. Beautifully said to each person. So we'll jump right over to our presidential focus questions. So presidential candidates, these questions are for you. VP candidates, you guys can rest a while until we get back to you. So the first question will go on this side and go down. We take a chance of equalizing it, have everyone answering first and so forth. So the first question aims or states, how do you define the ideal youth leader, and what sets you apart from other candidates today? How do you define the ideal youth leader, and what sets you apart from other candidates present today?
Okay, so for me, an ideal leader is someone who is dedicated to their job and is transparent with all they do and do not serve empty promises. So with that, I believe this position is not about, it's about making sure we have a campus that feels like you belong and creating an environment that is welcoming for both commuting and dorm students. It is about having a space where it's not just we come to classes and then go back home, but also that we can stay and really express ourselves well. What sets me apart, I believe, is my experience in other leadership roles. I believe everyone up here today has great ideas and great experience, but I am willing to dedicate so much of myself to the position. Even now, I'm not in the position yet, and I have done so much to start putting our initiatives in place because we believe that the USC students deserve the ultimate best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you very much. I do think foundationally that the ideal youth leader is not just one who possesses leadership qualities like being organized and bringing individuals together, but must be able to work with the administration of the university. The reason being is because being a leader, you can lead at various places, but leadership must be tailored to the community that you have to lead. Therefore, the ideal leader will be one who understands the administration, one who understands the administrative processes of the university, and can build bridges between the administration and different groups of students, along with everything else that the other presidential candidate said, rather. What sets me apart for this position is that I have led USC students in other capacities. I have been the director of spiritual awareness. I have been the the Iconic Student Coordinator. Well, I am still the Iconic Student Coordinator, and I also served the university as Mr. USC.
Well said. Mr. Headley?
All right. How would I define the ideal Yushan leader? I think the ideal Yushan leader needs to be able to meet people where they are. I feel like you need to be someone who is personable, who is able to understand individuals from all different walks of life. I also think the ideal Yushan leader is humble, respectful. They are a servant leader for the most part. And they should also know how to adapt. So when things get hard, when administration turns down event after event after event, that leader needs to know how to adapt, how to pivot, how to come up with creative solutions to thrive in an environment such as that. What sets me apart? Like I mentioned earlier, I am very proactive. I see the issues and I come up with a solution as quick as possible. I'm also present, technically capable, reliable. Working for IMC is not an easy process because we only have 2 graphic designers. I see Wade smiling. So it takes quite a lot. Yeah, and that is how I answer that question.
All right. All right. All right, good. Next question. It states, what is the most significant goal you hope? One more time. They clapping over there. What is the most significant goal you hope to accomplish as president, and how will you achieve it? What is the most significant goal you hope to accomplish as president, and how will you achieve it? Before we start this round.
All right. In alignment with the ASB vision according to the Constitution, one of my most significant goal is to ensure that the student experience is one that's memorable and leaves an impression on their hearts as they leave USC. This will be done through many campus initiatives. One of the ways would be to host a small business expo, in which we'll support small businesses of students and community members. This initiative will also be aligned to coincide with the university's centennial plans as best as possible. So it will be an ASB event for centennial. So the student body driving something for centennial. In the event of, with the objective of ensuring that the student experience is great, we also seek to better some of the spaces that students have around campus, the gazebo. There are benches along leading up to health foods that can be painted and be beautified. We are also looking to beautify the campus through murals, and that will be done as well by students.
Okay, so the most significant goal I would like to see happen if I am elected is to finish building what we want to really bridge is the communication issue that we have at this campus. Just canvassing for our campaign period, we spoke with a lot of freshmen, and they just seemed lost. They did not know what was where. They did not know when they came. They were not aware of who to go to, what forms they need to be have on hand, and so on and so forth. In an attempt to bridge or repair that bridge of communication, we have built a central web platform that has all things USC on this platform. So running this very quickly, we have a slate for entrepreneurships to connect. We have a place where all important student documents can be found on one section. And we also have a virtual campus map detailing where each class is. So it will essentially act as a bridge in terms of keeping students informed of USC, essentially.
Thank you very much.
I believe my most significant goal is to especially push forward our projects in terms of our infrastructure and policy projects especially. Our infrastructure projects include a shelter for the taxi stand at the front of campus, better green spaces, more murals for students to express themselves creatively. We'll have more student lounges and activity centers so that students can have spaces where they can go to stay and study and don't have to worry about if there's a class happening that they need to move for. We would like to improve the Wi-Fi outside of campus because we have so much dead zones and have solar charging stations at these same green spaces. And for our policy projects, we also work so hard to our commuter student assistance fund for students who miss school because they cannot afford to reach to school for classes or even the same events we want to push for. And it's also vital for me in financing all of this, we need a good events fundraising model. For this, we have worked so hard to build up a way, how are we going to bring in finances that won't stretch the school thin and our budget thin.
Well said, well said. Beautiful. Right. Right. You guys hear me? I'll hear myself. Thank you. Just some sound here in German. All right. Beautiful. So yes, next question goes, state sorry. How will you ensure your ideas, as just rightfully mentioned, are implemented and not just proposed? And what strategies will you use to maintain efficiency and accountability within your team? So how will you ensure your ideas are implemented and not just proposed? What strategies will you use to maintain efficiency and accountability within your executive team?
So our goal, especially to ensure that everything is implemented and hold accountability, is even in our events model, is that we won't micromanage in terms of the events we want departments to host. We will help you and we will guide you, but it's also about focusing on the proper timeline and the proper management for the initiatives that we have. For instance, we know things that will take more time, especially our infrastructure projects. We will start soon as possible compared to things like our policy projects we would hope to implement from September.
Thank you. Come on, guys, be better than that. Come on. All right, good. Belfon?
I think one of the most instrumental ways to ensure that projects and promises like these are properly executed around campus is to ensure that the gap that's usually there between the administration is bridged. We will do so by starting off and hosting forums with the administration. I'm not sure how many of us know, but the president of the university is an ex officio member of the ASB as well as the VP for Student Services and Enrollment. In my experience on ASB in the past, I have not seen many individuals hosting meetings with the administrators. And I think that sets the ASB back. Therefore, at the beginning of the term, if I'm elected, we would host plans or meetings with the administrators whereby we will share the plans, share the projects, share proposals, timelines as to how things will be done. So the projects would be brought to them early enough to leave aside all those things that keep the ASB back on most occasions.
Thank you, Mr. Belfon. Dwayne?
Okay, so to ensure that ideas are implemented, we would definitely have to plan thoroughly. That would include, definitely include involving the administration within planning to let them know that, hey, this is how we're going to go about X, Y, and Z. Volume, okay. We're going to involve the administration with our planning, so to make sure that, okay, our plan is A-okay to go ahead so that it is implemented. So planning thoroughly is one part. How do I ensure that these implementations happen? Firstly, we would establish clear timelines, as well as open communication with the students to kind of show them that, hey, this is what we're working on. These are the processes we are taking to get to the solution. And yeah, that is how we will ensure that these ideas are implemented.
All right, thank you. So you guys would have discussed and stated your goals. So let's boil it down a bit. So what is the most practical and impactful improvement you want to see happen at USC during your first 100 days? What is the most practical and impactful improvement you want to see at USC within your first 100 days? Do it.
Okay, so within the first 100 days, we are looking to execute the shuttle app that is currently on its way out. We also want to roll out the centralized platform that I mentioned briefly. For those tuning in, if you're a USC student or on WhatsApp, you should see a link coming in with the centralized hub. In addition to that, we also want to get on top of some streamlining of workflows, where if admin allows us to improve 9 times when it comes to, let's say, standing in line with finance or any other administrative process, so that it frees up, it makes more room to be more efficient, so students can spend less time on lines and less time confused and so on.
Thank you very much. Belfon?
All right, in the first 100 days, I think foundationally, the first thing that we want to do is begin with that student administration forum. Following from that, the Small Business Expo is not just going to happen. It leads up to, what happens to lead up to that, rather, would be meetings and sessions that would train students who want to start a small business and how to start a small business. Funding and financing and different foundational information that you would need to start a small business. Those are things that we want to execute in our first 100 days, and one of our projects would happen in the first 100 days of presidency, if I'm elected.
All right, Hernandez.
In my first 100 days, my main goal especially is to improve the communication between students, the executive, and the administration. And also to implement one of our projects, it would be our campus maps to the most practical. We know September we are going to get a whole bunch of freshmen who's going to stop and ask you, where am I going? So we can help them, and sometimes they are nervous, but it will help them with the maps, as well as the most impactful project we'd like to implement in these 100 days is a revival of campus events. We don't want to wait until January for the second semester with side events come along. We want you all to have a fun-filled campus where you know if you don't have some this week, next week, you have something for you.
All right. Beautifully said. Thank you very much. We want to acknowledge the presence of our President, President Wilson, in the midst for our debate. Welcome to the debate, sir. Ms. Peggy, welcome as well. All right, we're continuing smoothly. Still president questions. VPs, we are coming to you guys very shortly. All right, so presidential candidates. let me state that. All right, so this question states, you mentioned administration, collaboration, and so forth. So how will you improve communication and awareness between the ASB, administration, to direct... Sorry, it's the lighting. So how will you improve communication and awareness of ASB's role among the student body? Juju. I'm sorry. Jamal.
All right, thank you so much. How will I and my team improve the communication of the administration of the ASB to the student body? We will do so, and it's in my Sergeant at Arms manifesto and administrative assistant to host general body meetings, along with the student administration from which is that administration is the university administration. There will be general body meetings that happens in alignment with such to inform and the student body of proposed plans. In order to hear from the student body, we would have, and it's already on its way, a review box, which is virtual. Our PRO has been working on that. So that review box would be for the student body to provide to us information and feedback based on, and it's not just for the beginning of the term, but for the entirety of the school year.
Thank you very much. Fernandez.
So to improve the communication between the ASB and the administration, firstly, there needs to be, I believe, more frequent meetings so that with clear plans, so that we are aware of what has to happen and what needs to be in place for it to happen. With that, our goal at Impact, each and every one of us, is to have tangible, realistic plans that even in our manifesto, it shows how we are going to do it, whether it is financial, so we don't have to rely on the school completely, or even just the people coming out for events, because it is important that we also include the administration and not just hit them with the, hi, we have an event tonight, come up. No, it's working hand in hand to make sure that what we are doing represents the school properly, as well as it's just in everybody's best interest, because we don't want that the ASB doing what he wants and then the administration is not happy about it.
All right. Thank you. Do it.
All right, so how will we improve communication is essentially how I understand the question. So first, we would definitely need to establish a connection with the students. So establish a connection with them. So once we've done that, we do canvassing like we did in our campaign. Just simply walking to students, letting them know what the administration, essentially requires and wants for the students. In addition to that, we would also be frequently visiting the administration. I know Pastor Leffler's office is not too far away, so we'll be frequenting there. We would also use the relevant social media platforms for students. We will be visually communicating a lot to you guys. We noticed that you guys enjoyed that a lot during our campaign. And more frequent town halls, as well as with the use of the platform I just mentioned. There's an announcement feature. Once you sign on, we send out a blast, everyone gets it. So that is one we do intend to improve that aspect.
You went soft in the end. You went soft.
What I said was these are the different ways we plan to improve that aspect.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so I've seen over the years, ASB elections and the results normally turns out where teams are mixed. There's a phrase at Trinidad and Tobago like callaloo soup, like callaloo, right, callaloo, right? We realized that over the years, last year we had a mixed team, year before a mixed team and so forth and so forth. All right, so how, if elected, with individuals outside your team, so a mixture of spare, impact, and rebuild, how will you collaborate plans, unify the leadership, and ensure that everybody formulates or forms one unified team? So if you like to with individuals outside your team, spare, rebuild, and impact, how will you collaborate and unify leadership plans to make one team? Belfon.
All right, great. So in my experience as a student leader and also leading outside of the university, I've had to work with diverse communities. Even going up as Mr. USC, well, as a Purchase Excellence Delegate, it was a diverse community with different students from different backgrounds, and during that period, we grew closer to each other. Therefore, and even as IConnect student coordinator, we have ministry leaders who are commuting, who are national students, and I was blessed with the opportunity of bringing them together. I was also blessed with the opportunity of bringing students together for Blitz and other iConnect activities. I'm also bringing students together for activities held when I was the Director of Spiritual Awareness for the ASB. Therefore, I think the foundational thing, if I'm the president for a mixed team, would be to review, the entire team review the manifestos and plans of everyone else, and we put them together as we move forward.
All right. Onanis.
Looking through each team's manifesto, I believe we all have good ideas that are student-focused. And as I said, being student-focused, our job is to do things for the students. And as students ourselves, as persons who has went through different ASB execs, we know it's important to have good communication within those teams. So first day in office, I believe, is to have a meeting with your team members. See what they would like to bring from their personal manifestos. What are their goals, and what can we do best to work for the students and really have things that highlight their interests best. Because at the end of the day, it does not take one hand to clap, it takes two.
All right. Dwayne?
All right, so the first thing I would do is to form a connection with, other team members. Sometimes, the campaign can get intense and people feel attached to their team. So establishing a connection is very important. Having a couple of team building exercises in the beginning to kind of get everyone relaxed, more or less, so that we finally notice that, hey, it's no longer about this team, that team. It's one ASB. After that, I do one-on-ones with each member. What I'm really going for is something more of an assimilation of plans, where we merge everything we have together. We look at the strengths, weaknesses of each, and we come together with a cohesive plan to benefit the students. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, presidential candidates, I'll let you guys rest for a few minutes as we go to the VP candidates. All right, vice presidential candidates, your questions are directly focused on your role. But before I do that, I will have you guys give your plans or goals as VP going forward. All right, so give your plans and your goals as VP going forward. A few minutes to think about that. A few minutes to think before you guys answer. Students in the audience, and you guys send your questions. Josiah is in the crowd there. Right, is in the crowd, awaiting the questions from you guys to be asked. All right? You guys ready? Mark, go ahead.
Here again, everyone. So one of the things that I definitely want to see as the VP would be clear deadlines, deliverables, and timelines for every single project that us as executives have to manage and oversee. One thing I noticed, because I did a lot of analysis on the other team's manifestos, as someone in data, that's something that's very important to me. I noticed that there weren't much clear deliverables, clear timelines, or budgets for all of these grandiose projects. So that is definitely going to be something I want to see going forward as the VP. I also intend to manage the graduation and yearbook project like any other project I've managed in the past. And that is through clear deadlines, clear deliverables, and buffers. So a lot of the time, the yearbook isn't delivered on time. And I think that's because we don't account for the fact that things could go wrong, like they do in real life. So as such, I'd like to implement buffers so that we could account for those real life occurrences. Somebody might fall sick, somebody might not be able to make it. So that's definitely a very big focus on me as VP. But besides that, I'm just here to deliver. I believe in action over advocacy. So go Team Spare.
All right. Thank you very much. Ezekiel?
Can you repeat the question?
So what are your goals and your plans going forward as a VP candidate?
Well, my first goal would be to work along with the president of the executive so that all plans of the ASB comes to light. We want inclusion with all students, so we are not only sharing ideas, we must continuously consult the student body on what is being worked on, what progress has been made, and what plans we have for the rest of the school year. My goals when it comes to the yearbook,
Come on, support him, guys, support him. Let's go. That's right.
Well, we focus on effective communication as well. So with the senior class, I would like to have, if not bi-weekly, every three weeks, we should continuously have conversations on what plans they have for the yearbook when it comes to their regards, because it is not my ideas, it's the students as a whole, because it's all graduation. As well as it comes to the 100th year, I am ensuring that there's also more inclusion when it comes to things to quotes, as well as I'm trying to push a digital yearbook, which is additional to the physical copy, where you can have it as an option. This can be more interactive, where the quotes, you could have videos, and there's more opportunities for different clubs, faculties, and students of every part and extension campuses to put their self into their yearbook. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Demario, that's correct.
Yes, thank you very much. My goal is to ensure that I work along well with the president to ensure that we steer ASB in the right direction. I plan to elevate the voices of our students and also provide leadership that you guys can depend on. Another thing that I plan to do is to honor the legacy of our senior class, because your journey here should be captured and you can be able to look back at the memories so that you can, be grateful for the great time you had at USC. And one important part of that is working with you to find out what you want to see in the yearbook. And I'll do that by issuing surveys for you to fill out, and I can understand what you want to see and communicate that with the graphic designer so that what you want to see can be in the yearbook. Another thing that I want to do is collaborate with the Centennial Committee on the 100 Acts of Kindness initiative, because I'm a kind person and I love to give. And I believe that we can foster a culture of service and kindness by collaborating with the university on this project. And this will be done by food drives and other initiatives throughout the semester once I am elected.
Just repeat the question one more time, please. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry, my bad. The question was your plans and goals as VP going forward, yes.
All right. Well, firstly, the VP works hand in hand with the president on this ASB alongside bridging the gap between student communication. So any plans that come forth, I want to make sure that they're not just plans and proposals, but they're actually implemented within our tenureship on the ASB. We're here for 8 months and we need to make sure that everything proposed can be done within that time frame. So apart from that, I need to also be the voice of reason where things can get out of hand to say that sometimes this needs to take a back seat and leave opportunities for other ASBs to shine through, for one. Two, I am graduating next year when the centennial anniversary of the school. So I want to make sure that my legacy and the 4, 5, how many years you spent at this school are not left out of the yearbook. So something that I would like to implement, students submitted photos of memories that they would have captured outside of what IMC or other on-campus media would have captured, so that the yearbook is not just an ASB thing or a school thing, but it's also student-centered and student-focused. Your memory deserves to be captured, and a yearbook is not just supposed to be another biography of clubs and other persons, but a truly encapsulated memory of your best moments here.
All right. So as you rightfully mentioned, the yearbook and the graduation class. So the question states, how will you improve and streamline senior-related processes, such as graduation activities, yearbooks, yearbook photos, and so forth? So it's your time now to go deeper into your plans. All right, so the question states, how will you improve and streamline senior-related processes, such as graduation activities and the yearbook? Right, Mark?
Okay, so I would go with my first approach to any problem, and that is technology. A big problem is that a lot of the meetings tend to have no formal action plans coming out of it. So you sit down, you have a long 30-minute conversation, and everybody goes on about the day with no clue what to do next. Us at SPARE utilize AI meeting notes to summarize all agendas meetings. So there won't be any, but I tell you that, and this, that, and the other. We'll have clear deliverables that are tracked. We'll have deliverables that are assigned to persons. So you're not just saying we need to get this done, we need to get that done. Everybody has a role, everybody has a deadline, and everybody has a budget. That's my
All right, thank you. Ezekiel?
Great points. Well, as I'm trying to initiate a continuous communication with the senior year class, at the start, I believe I should create a timeline of all the things I plan to go forth when it comes to the yearbook and the graduation. There may be uncertainty of if you will graduate the following year where it comes to academics, or you probably may fail a course before that time. So we can't plan too ahead of time. But I would like to start planning as early as possible, because students complain that even after graduation, 5 months later, and they still have not received their yearbook. I oppose from first semester, we could start things like the quotes, because even if you do not graduate the following year, your quotes can still leave an impact for other students that are graduating that year.
Thank you. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, my apologies, my apologies. Ezekiel, sorry. Elisa.
Well, most importantly, as rightfully said by Mark, correct? Your name, Mark? Yeah. Rightfully stated by him, deliverables are important and we need to have clear timelines on these matters. As VP, if I'm elected, when I set clear timelines on when things are expected to be done, so this not only makes things clear for students, for the execs, and even administration to understand, but even for the student bodies, so that transparency, once again, is clear and they can expect things to be a certain way and they can hold us accountable to these plans and actions, whereas forcing their hand to make sure that things are done to their liking. At the end of the day, it is their graduation, this is our graduation, my graduation, and I'd like to see things done in a timely manner.
All right, thank you. Then Mario.
Yes, I plan to ensure that the yearbook and other graduation activities are well planned by firstly setting deadlines and outlining the steps to ensure that those things are completed. And I have already started looking at potential individuals who will be taking the pictures, who will be doing graphic designing for the yearbook. So this shows that I have been productive and proactive in this role if I am elected by you, the students. And I can assure you that you will receive the best yearbook, one of the best yearbooks that you have ever received. And it's also the centennial year. So I hope to collaborate with the administration to see what things they might want to see reflected in the yearbook, and also balancing that with what the students want to see in the yearbook as well.
All right, thank you very much, Mario. We'll take a pause for the VP questions and jump into the team-related questions. All right? All right. What key issues are students currently facing? I know many of you guys will have been on the ground from April 9th going forward. So what key issues are students currently facing, and how will you and your teams support each other in addressing them? What key issues are students currently facing, and how will you and your team address them? A few minutes to think. Well, I'm not sure all your kind of, but you guys can communicate via the web. Yes. Once you're ready, any team can begin and we go from there.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, so some of the issues we came across during our canvassing was, again, the communication issue as well as access to information. Currently on the website, the USC website, it can be a bit difficult for students to navigate. There's no one area for information. Solution to this, we built a platform that has this. So that's access to communication. Access to information when it comes to communication. Again, we don't intend to stop going around talking to students. We intend to continue that. We want to broaden our communication strategy to social media. So we want to widen the range. So currently we use TikTok, Instagram. We want to head over to Facebook, Discord, LinkedIn, other relevant social platforms. What we also heard was we heard of infrastructure issues inside administration. One of our potential solutions for this is to create a maintenance log. So as you can see, you take a picture, click, write a description, send it over to us. We make it an issue, well, not make it an issue, but we take it to the powers that be. We also heard of a lack of club initiatives. So one of our big initiative of SPARE is to outsource a lot of our events to clubs so that they are more involved, they have more opportunities to fundraise and basically make the campus feel more lively, as well as give each student a diverse cultural experience. Yeah.
All right.
I don't mind answering now, Mr. Chair. Being on the ground, we got lots of information from the students. Number one of the freshmen last year communicated to me how it was difficult for them to traverse through the campus and get integrated into the school. So one of our plans coming from that is to collaborate with the different faculties, the different schools, and I spoke to some of the deans about this already, but plans cannot put in place right now because you need to be in position. But to create a process for a welcome package. It's not just going to be everything materialistic, but different resources and information that the students would appreciate to help them traverse through campus. Also, communication. I spoke about the communication gap between students and administration. Even during campaigning, I spoke to a student who needed information on how to resolve an issue with exams, and so communication gaps like that. Also, communication between and events that would be inclusive. To do so, I suggest that different directors collaborate, directors like social and cultural, director for students, community students, non-native speakers, men's and ladies club would collaborate to do different events that would ensure that every student can come together and do something together. So not everyone holding things separately every time, but collaborative events. Just a few.
All right. All right. Come on, guys. Come on. Support them, guys. Come on. Right?
So there are two major things that we have heard of, gotten feedback on this campus that students are very passionate about. And these are coming from the commuting students, the taxing process it takes to reach the campus from wherever they are. And another major one being that many students currently do not trust the ASB with anything that we have to offer. Time and time again, you hear words like, yes, never do nothing, where the directors and them that promised this how long ago, what we're going to do is always empty promises with them. I don't even know who is my current ASB president. You hear things like this being said from students all the time, and it makes you wonder, well, if we are serving the students, why is it that they carry so much disdain for the student body that has to represent them to the administration? And partly this is because of lack of transparency, lack of communication, not being open with the students on what they want to do and what it is, what plans they have. The entire campaign process, all of us have delivered many, many great things, and most students felt as though these are empty promises. But I want to make sure that does not happen. As a team, we want to make sure that our promises are easy to deliver on within the time frame that we are in office for, that are realistic, that can be maintained beyond our tenureship on the ASB, and to make sure that communication is clear between the ASB and the students. Even if every 2 weeks you have an ASB meeting and there's nothing clear that you can deliver on right now, an initiative that cannot be in place, it is better to state that to the students so that they are in the loop and knows what happens. If the students don't know what's happening, they can't hold you accountable.
All right.
So one of the major problems that students have is awareness and transparency when it comes to events. We have a lot of events throughout the semesters that sometimes they may be brought to the students last minute. In other instances, last minute they are cancelled. And we don't get efficient responses on why these events are cancelled. Where I would like to impose bi-weekly town halls, we are not only creating events just because we want students to participate, but we should also leave the opportunity for students to say what they want to participate in, as well as we must take accountability for these events not coming to what we expected them to be. Thank you.
All right, I'm seeing that we have student-led questions already. So we'll pause right here as we jump into that to ensure that we have students' questions being addressed as well. All right, so questions. Welcome Ms. Afia to the podium.
Okay, and here are a few questions that are coming in from students that choose to remain anonymous. 1, we always hear talk about a gap between international students and commuting students. What is the root cause, and how can this ASB help based on your plans?
So it is not a secret that there is a gap between commuting students and dorm students. I believe firstly, we must at least acknowledge it realistically, because we all say there's a gap, but we're not doing anything about it. The goal is to create a space, where we can address it. The goal, especially for Impact, is to have the events that we can bring dorm students and commuting students together. So our strategy in implementing our policies and infrastructure projects and even our exec projects is to build a campus environment where you can see us getting along. Because I have so much friends who live on dorm and they believe because of I live in Trinidad and Tobago, I'm from here and I'm not an international student, I do not understand their struggles, or it's easier for me to be integrated into campus events. But really and truly, I believe we need to be more mindful of this and allow other cultures to be broadcasted as well in our school events.
Thank you.
Just continuing from what the presidential candidate stated, and even last year for the debate and the year before and things like that, we hear the same thing about a gap and bridging the gap. And I continue hearing similar responses, but we can't see the gap being bridged. And that's why the origination of the gap did not just start last year or 2 years ago. And I can say that it's easier for dormitory students to attend most of the things on campus. The reason being is that sometimes, again, the communication issue. Information goes out late about these things. Why? Because we don't get around those administrative processes soon enough so that we can inform individuals of those things early. There are various arrangements that can and should be made for commuting students to be able to be around. But if you do not know and understand those administrative procedures, that would need, and I think one of the things that we almost always hear is the time of freshman social, things like that. But how do we change that? What's the procedure for that? And if we don't understand those things, we would not be able to get around that. And if we do not efficiently and skillfully, as I stated, allow directors to collaborate for different things. So the director of commuting students is responsible for being a voice for the commuting students on the associated student body. Therefore, when the executive meets, the director of commuting students would be responsible for stating, okay, knowing my commuting students, this is what's best. How can we work together for that? And hence the reason why I suggested earlier that we have directors like Director of Committing Students, Director of Social and Cultural, Director of Non-Native Speakers of English, Men's and Ladies Club President, collaborate to do various things so that everyone can sift out those nitty-gritties that would hinder each group of students to ensure that they can participate in selective and important activities.
All right, so we want to bridge the gap between local and international students through more sporting events. We believe sports is a great way for individuals to connect. We want to have some physical activity. We notice there is a growing attraction for running on campus. Shout out the Slide Project and the Heart of Fire Club. We also want to have more low-cost and consistent mini events to get both parties to collaborate more with each other, do more things together. Additionally, we think, we believe that the fact that there is an issue is because commuting students feel like international students take up a lot of the activities here at USC. So what we want to do is give more opportunities to off-campus students to participate, be more involved. In our approach, we're going to be a lot more deliberate in reaching out to them, letting them know that, hey, this is available, you can do this, you can do that. A lot of them, they come here and they feel disillusioned because all they see is dorm students. If you take a look at our team is diverse. We have local and international students. Another specific note, we also noted that I think even this week during our canvassing, the issue of grad testimonials came up. We noted that a lot of commuting students felt left out. They saw mostly, the local students saw mostly international students. And so that is something we want to creatively change. We want to involve them more. So I believe by having these events that enable them to collaborate with international students, that would improve the tension, as well as just having them more involved, being more part of the ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah, that would enable them to feel more, or make everyone feel a lot more welcome and comfortable, more or less.
No problem. Thank you very much for your answer.
I would like to say more events would not change the division between students. We have a lot of clubs on the university campus, and a lot of students don't even know half of the clubs that it have in the school. So I believe to help with that, there should be more impact when it comes to clubs, bringing awareness to students so that students could participate in these things.
That's all right. Yeah. Yeah? It's coming?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And this question is directly for the president of SPARE. Our students want to know, why create another website when the university has one? Why separate and not collaborate on updating what is currently available and make it more user-friendly? Is it not the point of the ASB?
That is a lovely question. So why not collaborate with the current website? So the current website is currently built with a different infrastructure. They have a sort of different vision in terms of what they want for the website. What we have is strictly student focused. So what you have on the current website, it is a lot more general, and so it can be difficult to access certain points of information. Okay, I should maybe ask that question with a question. Does the current USC website have a campus map? No, it does not. Ours does. Does it have a centralized hub for different entrepreneurs to connect and so on and so forth? No, it does not. There are a bunch of other features that we have on our website that the current student website does not have. So hopefully in the future, once the administration comes around, we are more than willing to integrate. But as of right now, we just have something that is separate solely for the students. It's the same way we have the All Things USC WhatsApp chat. It is more or less separate, quote unquote, and its own entity. So when the administration is ready, we are more than willing to collaborate. It's just that right now we notice that, you know, the current website has a more general use case than a specific use case. I hope that answers that individual's question.
Thank you.
No problem.
The Crossfire is coming just started. This question is for the President of Impact. Can you elaborate on your fundraising model?
So our fundraising model is meant that each department in a school, specifically these schools, so whether it's social, business, education, humanities, we encourage you or even the clubs if they like to host an event on campus and work alongside ASB with it. And this would be with the funds gained from it, the clubs or the departments would get some, and then ASB would get some. This allows each club to have a spotlight, express what they are about, as well as the ASB to have a streamline of income.
Thank you very much. This is coming in fiery. So this one is for the President of SPARE, Dwayne Headley. We saw you dropped out from the last campaign trail that you unfortunately just left. How can we put our trust in you if you are so indecisive then?
All right, that is a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question. First of all, it was a family emergency. I obviously won't go into detail, but if you remember the campaign last year, I actually came back as parliamentarian. I provided support for my team all the way. You hear them clapping all the way. So I was still in the background helping out, and I've actually come back stronger. I am more skillful. I took the time to develop my skills, and my team and I, we have presented about two deliverables for you before we are even elected. So I feel like that says more than enough.
Thank you all. That's all for now.
All right. One more time for the candidates, one more time. So we jump into our crossfire, also known as the rebuttal stage of this debate. Candidates are asked to state their team or who they're representing, as well as in this round, we are asking everyone to remain respectful, cordial, and let's have fun with this section, all right? So teams, candidates, the questions are quite simple, and it relates to each team's manifesto, their plans, objectives, and so forth. First question states, and anyone, any team, SPARE, Rebuild, Impact, Netidonko can go first and we flow from there. Once a candidate rebuts or questions another candidate's plans, that candidate will answer and vice versa. Clear? Nice. Okay, good. So the first question is quite direct. What is one weakness in your opponent's plans or manifesto? What is... All right.
Hi everyone. So I did do a lot of reading in preparation for this question.
Mike?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So I'd like to start with team impact. I love the ideas presented. They sound very aspirational and very transformative. However, I see it as a bit over-ambitious. Throughout all 14 of the concurrent projects you guys plan to implement, there is $0 mention, 0 partners, So I have a question for you. In terms of the budget for these 14 projects and the fund that you guys intend to create, where is it going to come from? Why are you creating it? How are you going to track your execution on it? And how you intend to do it in 8 months?
Thank you so much for that passionate question. And I'm glad that you did your reading. Unfortunately, you dropped your manifesto 10 hours before now, so we can get your reading. But to answer your question, right, where is the money going to come from? We explicitly stated in our manifesto a funding model. Within this, it would be a little bit shaky to drop our sponsors now, given the fact that we are not currently in office to do so. However, you can remain assured that they are there, and whomever is in position, we are happy to share that information with them to take on the initiatives that we have and to ensure that they are followed through upon. If you would like to hear a name after the debate, we would surely give you that.
1 minute.
Yes. Just following up from a question that Mark asked. And I must say that I applaud the initiative of seeking out sponsors. We also decided to seek out some sponsors even prior to being in position, which I think prepares any leader for that position. My question is as it relates to the amount of plans that you all have. We know that ASB runs for 8 months. Next year is the centennial year. We know that the university has plans for centennial. Specifically as well, your plan for the taxi stand that's in front of campus. We see that they're renovating in front of campus right now. How will you be able to accomplish all of those? And I think he mentioned the 14 of them in 8 months. And what's the process to ensure that they are aligned with the centennial projects? Because I know that many things are happening, and in the Team Rebuilds manifesto, you would see that many things are aligned and expected to be aligned with centennial projects.
Thank you for your question. Firstly, one thing we did before publishing our manifesto, we went to the administration. We wanted to make sure our goals and our plans were tangible and did align with the centennial. So most of the plans we have actually do align with some of the plans the administration self has, and they are willing to help us improve on what we do. Even the taxi stand shelter, our goal is to use sustainable materials so that, one, it does not break the bank of ASB, but still is convenient to students.
Yes, you guys can ask a question to the teams or rebut their plans and so forth.
I have a question. Also, I just want to say that I'm in alignment with what it is she said. My question is, at the end of your tenure, how do you intend to leave a permanent legacy in USC that students can benefit from compared to our taxi stand, shelter, and green spaces, and everything that we want to offer? What is one thing that you believe your manifesto says and can last beyond you? Because every ASB wants to have something for themselves, right? What is something that you want to leave behind that is specifically for the students, that doesn't have to carry your name on it?
I would answer the question, and I would not say that I want my ASB fan president to have something for ourselves. I would say that I think that the ASB, whichever going forward, should impact the students permanently and the campus permanently, is not to have something for anyone's self. In order to provide a direct answer to the meat of the question, would be one, that small business expo that you're speaking about would develop skills in students to start their small business, and it's an objective to amend it and include it in the Constitution going forward, so that it would be a continuous process to support more small businesses as they grow for students, as well as the mural beautification project murals don't fade away so quickly and so easily, and they could always be repainted going forward. So those are things that would impact the students. Additionally, we plan on having a transition process. So if I am the ASB president, I think it's pivotal, and I have not seen it happen, that there's a transition process between the current ASB and anyone who decides to run for ASB, whereby you would share your campaign experience and you would prep them for pre, during, and post-campaign.
That's a very good response, and I appreciate that. That question can go towards Team Spear as well, but I just want to follow up on something that you said. Now, you have an entrepreneur, a small business expo that you'd like the members of the community and the students to partake in, to bring light and show forth their talents and gifts and what they have to offer. I just want to know what's the difference between that initiative and the current entrepreneurship day that USC, or rather the business, School of Business, hosts. What defines your initiative from theirs?
All right, I'll happily answer that question. And I have patronized the School of Business Entrepreneurship Day in the past. I think foundationally, and being around the School of Business Entrepreneurship Day, we usually see mostly business students partaking and selling. You might get one or two people coming around, but it's mostly business students, and some of them, and I listen to some of them, do it because they have to do it for a course, right? The difference would be that the amount of small businesses that we help, and it would assist students of many different fields, not just from the School of Business. If you're in School of Social Sciences or Studies, yeah. And even from the School of Theology and Religion, I can't remember it now, School of Science and Technology, and you have a small business. It may not be your main occupation for the future, but it's something that you want to go, or you have an idea, would assist in growing that. And that's the reason why we are also having sessions prior to that, that would take those ideas and grow them into something substantial, something that you would even be able to benefit from now, students, as you traverse through university. You might need a little, and you have a small business that started up, which I think would be great. So that's the main difference between School of Business Entrepreneurship Day and the Small Business Expo.
My question in response to that, we talk about working with the administration and we talk about working with the students. Why not partner with the School of Business to improve their entrepreneurship day and include outside businesses so that they can make, as you said, your in this project, to be like Entrepreneurship Day, instead of having Entrepreneurship Day this week and next week, your project, which is going to be the same thing.
So what I would say to that, the sessions that we'll be having for that leads up to that would be coming from the School of Business. And I've communicated with lecturers from there who are interested in building into other students. Because of how School of Business Entrepreneurship Day is structured and the reason for it, we saw it best and in communicating with, again, lecturers from the School of Business and Entrepreneurship, they said that it would be good to build on those students, and that building on the students would happen from first semester going forward up until when the Small Business Expo would happen later on. So we are not doing it aside from and completely disregarding the School of Business, but our presenters and stuff, potential presenters, I would say, mainly comes from the School of Business, so they have been consulted.
All right, next question. Within each manifesto among the 4 teams, identify one promise from your opponent that you believe is unrealistic. Identify one promise from your opponent that you believe is unrealistic.
Yes, I do see some things that are unrealistic in each of the manifestos. Firstly, starting with Mark Again's manifesto. You would have mentioned that you plan to save the university about $15,000 and 250 hours, right? So I want to know, how will you ensure that that $15,000 actually makes it back into the ASB budget? And have you had conversations to find out if that's possible, if your plan is implemented? And for Ezekiel Oxley, I saw in your manifesto that you intend to reduce the weighting of general ed courses. And I want to know if you have had consultations with persons like the provost of the university to find out if that's something that can be done, considering that the university has accreditation criteria that must be met. And for team impact, I heard that you said you plan to do fundraising with clubs and collaborate with them with their events, and you guys split some of the profit. Now, I want to know if you have communicated with those clubs to see if that's something they would want to do, and if they might potentially see that as you taking money out of their pockets as individual entities. Those are my questions.
All right, so spare and then impact.
Okay, so in terms of the digitization of these automated systems that I'd like to have implemented, well, you see, we have value, and it's really hard to measure value without clear deliverables and clear outcomes. The good thing about automating business processes is that they can be tracked. You track how many documents we print, the cost of the paper, how fast replies are sent for approval processes, and every little metric could be displayed on a dashboard on our very own central hub. So students could see in real time every dollar that we save, every hour that we could get back for staff to reinvest into beautification projects, and a lot of the other grandiose ideas that you guys are suggesting. So this will be done primarily with tools within our own ecosystem. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but we have tools like Power Automate that allow us to automate different paper processes, which is already available to the university. At most, it might cost $50 a month if we intend to implement various AI features to just improve student experience, but we're using resources we already have to create capacity for us to reinvest into campus. So transparency through this platform will allow us to see, okay, we save X amount of hours, X amount of dollars, what are we going to do with it? Thank you.
So firstly, yes, we have. And being on the ground, because these initiatives don't come out of thin air, it's knowing that some clubs feel as though they do not have the space to thrive. Matter of fact, using my personal experience, I am on the executive for Club Suicide. I'm going to be real, our finance is not the greatest. So, and at the same time, we want to improve that so that we can improve for society students. And to do that, we need the space to express ourselves and have our fundraisers. It is harder for clubs to just say, okay, let's go to finance, let's get approval to have a fundraiser to do certain things. The process to get approval of funds as well as have events is a lot harder if you go on your own. You partnering with ASB and going to the administration, say, hi, we would like to do this on behalf of Club ABC and the ASB to have a fundraising event that benefits students.
This is for Team Spear. So I saw that your commuting director wants to do a 500 stipend initiative. Is that monthly for the commuting students? Now, apart from that, I want to ask, is it sustainable in the long run? And how would you ensure that the future ASBs also upkeep this, one? And two, $500 is a lot of money to hand to one student. How are you going to distribute that fund for them? How are you going to maintain it? Is it that the students get it in portions? Or is it that you're going to give them all at once and then hope for the best? I just want to know, is it an equitable option or is it something just based on equality? Give everybody 500 and hope for the best.
Okay, so CTSP has done the research, we've done the planning, and we've put our money where our mouth is. So we noticed that a lot of you guys also promised to have stuff like free meals, shelters, and grand pools. However, there's zero mention of capital. $500. I know you said that could be a lot of money. But looking at initiatives like the one we propose, we know we're not going to be able to get $500 to every single commuting student. However, we start by building capacity. The same $15,000 that the automation saved could fund 30 students to get to class. That's a full class of students that could show up without any bake sales or any fundraisers that we intend to have. Also, I feel like a lot of emphasis is being put on fundraisers, but if we have students that are already struggling to reach the campus, who's going to invest in the fundraisers? So, being able to pull money out of thin air essentially, and not only improve our own processes, right, for the students, but also for the staff that have to use these systems, is a real way for us to create value. So, in terms of budgets, I know we suggested $500. I didn't see any of the other teams mention that in the manifesto, so I'd like to know if you have a better figure that you guys came up with. Thanks.
So if you read our manifesto, especially under where we have our financial plans, we stated for our commuting student assistance fund that it would be a partnership between sponsors as well as alumni donations and so forth. Because at the end of the day, if we rely just on the school to finance it or ASB's budget to finance it, one, it will not go past us, and two, it will run out.
I would just like to add to that as well. It could be that the audio is echoing too much and I'm not hearing you clearly, but you did mention $15,000, that money that you would have saved from your 250 hours you would have invested into your project. I just want to know, is this money in hand right now currently that you can dish it out to me? Can I hold this in my hand currently, or is it that this is something prospected, as in it's not there yet delivered, it is in the future, and this is something that is proposed to be the fact right now?
Right, that is a very good observation. This same proposal that I'm suggesting is actually what won me the USC Brilliant Ideas competition very recently. So it's backed by the school. Yeah. The USC Brilliant Ideas competition. Right. So this suggestion isn't just something in the air. It's not just something you decided to write on paper. It's something that already started. And I wasn't intentionally planning to run for elections, but I saw the opportunity. And this is simply where preparedness meets opportunity. So, in terms of planning, yeah, this is all planned, this is all perspective. However, it's still something tangible. And I'm still yet to see, maybe I skipped a page, but I did not see any clear deadlines, any clear budgets. It's not cheap to build solar charging stations. And I don't think a cake sale is what will fund it. So I'd like to know, we have to be realistic here, guys, because fundraisers, yeah. For example, Mr. Oxley's proposal to have shuttle services.
Guys, we want to hear your questions in the audience.
Yeah, so for example, the suggestion to have shuttle services that extend to Port of Spain and so forth, collaborating with PTSC, these sorts of projects cost over 6 figures every year. So I would like to ask an open question to Mr. Dudley in terms of how exactly you're planning to fund this, and how you're going to get the PTSC, the state, to change their routes to allow persons to come from campus to these various locations.
Firstly, I would like to say again, if you read our manifesto, it has our finance section. However, us releasing our full financial breakdown of how we intend to finance all of this would make that document even longer than you'll think it already is. That is one. Two, we are not adding a route to the PTSC's usual route. Firstly, our shuttle service goes from campus to QREP. What we intend to do is the same bus that going from QREP to Chagonas picks up USC students, and the same bus going from QREP to ARIMA picks up USC students. And our goal, as you said, sponsorships, because they do have grants to work alongside schools so students can have access to proper transportation.
Okay. I have a quick follow-up question to that. In terms of these sponsorships and these collaborations, do you have any MOUs, any promises, any collaborations? Have you done any outreach to these to these sponsorships and partnerships that you claim to have? Or are they all also in the air and you plan to have that implemented? Because I know there's a lot of administrative processes that go into planning and implementing and creating collaboration between organizations. So is it that the student body over the next 8 months is going to be able to get the government to provide that service?
Earlier stated, I did mention that the sponsorships and the collaborative efforts are not up in the air, they are there. And providing that we are in office, we're happy to follow through on those and get things rolling. And if not, we are happy to share those sponsors with you if you are elected and make sure that these initiatives go through. Apart from the team manifesto, I'm not sure if you read mine, but getting a PTSD bus pass for our student shuttle is not a difficult process. And the school originally had one also. It's as simple as signing a form, writing a letter, and ensuring that we secure it so that the shuttle itself has access to the bus route, which provides more transportation routes to aid some of the commuting students' burdens. A lot of our initiatives are not standalone. They work and intertwine with each other. If we sort out transport routes to assist students, we also help students who have the financial difficulties of getting to and from campus, because those routes and those transportation ways are now open for them to make that process easier. You not just want to implement an idea for the sake of doing it without thinking about other things as well. Each idea flows into one another so that it actually makes an impact.
All right, Ezekiel, I see you have a question.
No, I'd actually like to respond to Lemario's question.
No problem.
Where he asks about... Okay. So my entire manifesto...
Oh, sorry. I was going to remind you of the question.
Go ahead. I wasn't hearing you. Go ahead.
My entire manifesto was made with the best interests of each individual throughout the school, as well as these are concerns that the students have. Now we also must remember, no manifesto is set in stone. If elected as vice president, my first step would be to go to the provost and administration to understand the limitation and the constraints when it comes to that matter. Then I can come back to the student body and discuss how we can move forward to ensure that I work in the best interest of the student body. Then from the students, I can come back to my team and set a proper proposal to take back to administration. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. My question to Team Impact, as it relates to, you suggested every club, having fundraisers and the ASB, if you're elected, gets a portion of that. What's the process or the plan in convincing clubs to do so? I ask because I've been a part of many different clubs and interacted with many different clubs. And most of the academic and the extracurricular and even cultural clubs right now, they have the understanding that, and the expectation that ASB would send them money or whatever, or fund them or help them. And so how is it that clubs who have that expectation, who has that misunderstanding, who are trying to fund themselves, what's the plan to get them to collaborate with you and give you a portion of whatever profits they make?
So just to sneak a pinch from what Mr. Oxley would have said, no manifesto is set in stone. And us, excuse me, what's the word I'm looking for? taking, for lack of a better term right now, portion of funds from the club is not just to fund the initiatives that we have. As you rightly said, clubs are of the understanding that the ASB is there to serve them and that they have a right to some of our funds and so forth. And so not every bit of money that is allocated to us from their earnings goes directly into only ASB initiatives. At the end of the day, as the name suggests, associate student body, we are there to serve the students, club members, non-native speakers, everyone in all. And so some of those funds will directly streamline back to them to help their initiatives. Yes, it sounds like a circle and a loop, and as you rightfully said, you have experience with the admission and understanding of the school. You can see that quite often funds are just recycled from department to department in this school. Unfortunately, that may not ever change, but we would also look towards sourcing outside sponsorships and such for clubs to be able to push their initiatives, so not all the money will go towards ASB. On top of which, we have an extracurricular director there for a reason, and part of his job, his role description in the Constitution is to be liaison to connect clubs and different activities off campus and on campus to the clubs as well. We want to offer support to that director to ensure that outside of just campus activities alone, the clubs have access to outside opportunities as well. So not every single penny that is made will come directly to us. The clubs have a right to build themselves and to express themselves and such. We just want that a portion of that goes towards us for respective things.
If I can just respond to that, Mr. Chair, I think what would be better is assisting the clubs in their fundraisers, but not requesting from it. The reason I say that is, and one of the plans of Timmy Bill is to ensure that going forward, and we don't always see it happening, the directors would need to host fundraisers. We don't see much directors hosting fundraisers. If we see more directors hosting fundraisers, then the ASB would be less inclined to have to go to a club and assist them with a fundraiser and get a portion from it for whatever of the plans, even some of it going to plans and some going elsewhere. If, again, directors ensure that each director have a fundraiser which funds ASB activities instead of having just plans and no fundraisers, that would alleviate that problem. Additionally, I think what helps is that, again, ensuring that, and I think you mentioned it, but it needs to be pushed with a force, that the ASB assist all clubs and make suggestions. Even I am part of the Ministerial Association, and we plan on having something grand as a fundraiser that's coming soon. Being a part of other clubs, you would see different clubs selling. So the best thing to do as such, which we plan on doing, is to help those clubs with their fundraisers, but ensure that the ASB do their own aspect of fundraising, which would fund strictly ASB stuff. But in assisting those social and extracurricular and academic clubs, they go directly back to those clubs.
Ezekiel, your response?
No, actually, I have another question.
Go ahead.
My question is for TeamSpeak. What stops the chatbot from failing when the already existing chatbot that the school already has failed? Students' concern is that they don't feel like they get help from the chatbot already, as well as we are trying to push transparency. How does communicating with a chatbot help the students when they feel like the ASB already doesn't communicate enough with the students?
Okay, so in terms of the chatbot, something new we bring that the previous implementation didn't have is young, educated minds. So myself and Wayne have professional experience in the space of AI. I'm actually Microsoft certified as an AI transformation leader. So, as such, we intend to have very close and detailed communication with the ASB and with the administration persons. So, I know you mentioned in terms of the bot feeling. One thing that a lot of these bots don't have is up-to-date information. So we'll be providing a rich knowledge source for the bot. For example, graduation, deadlines. For example, you might be able to communicate with your advisor. If you have a bot with the knowledge of every single class you're supposed to take every single semester, you could go from having a 15-minute chat to in 5 minutes figuring out what you should pick for your next course. So these are the type of efficiency improvements we're trying to bring through the chatbot. In addition, we already have this live. Persons could go ahead and test it. Unlike any other team, Team Spay has already delivered solutions before asking for a single vote. So, Mr. Otney, have you tried the chatbot yourself?
If I can assist, I went on to the chatbot, and I'm not sure exactly. Great. So I went on to the chatbot myself, and you provided a bit more information on what it's going to be more like. While Mr. Headley was speaking, I went on to the US website just to confirm that is the website that I saw just the other day with all the information that he has been mentioning. Additionally, with the, you mentioned a map, and I think in my experience, I know admission provides information on the different locations of places on campus. We have orientation as well that, I think is such a great part of the campus experience, which is a campus store. Even myself being around campus, one of my, I think one of the most treasured moments for freshmen, and I hear them speaking about it, is going around and having to ask, and this is how you build relationships around campus. Communicating with students about where this is, where that is. Don't you think that that would remove such an opportunity to build those relationships? And again, what's the process as well, just in case, what's the process for ensuring, and do you know the procedures for implementing such a chatbot through IT? Because I know IT is responsible for those things. What's the process?
Right. So, in terms of, sorry, give me a second. Right. In terms of how we plan to implement a lot of these solutions, of course, you'd have to have close communication with IT as well to see these services implemented from start to finish. But I also wanted to talk about something here, and that's that the bot has only been live for 2 months. We developed this in 2 months. So you're looking at a solution that came out 2 months ago that looks really good compared to the website that's been out for a long time. And I feel like just the fact that we could produce this in 2 months, imagine we could produce it in 8 months. Okay? So, yeah, that's just something I wanted to talk about. Yeah, just like with every other initiative that you guys plan to implement, such as the shelter for the campus and all the various other projects, I see, not you guys, team impact. I aim to see that we have close collaboration with the administration to see these things actually come to life.
Just to add on to Mark and really respond to Juju's question about the virtual campus map, as well as admissions having its own orientation. I guess my question to that question is, why do freshmen still feel lost? We've had countless of conversation with freshmen, and they said that at orientation, they don't take them everywhere around the school. They only take them up to, I believe, the gazebo, and it cuts off there. They come right back. A lot of them have said that, they still don't know the campus. They don't know where the ST rooms are. They don't know that there are LH buildings on the outside of admin. So, again, our approach is not to replace stuff like orientation, to build those connections. We actually welcome those. This is just an addition to this is just an addition to the gauntlet. We're just providing additional support and additional information for students to reference. For instance, let's say someone missed an orientation. When I just got here, I missed my orientation and I was lost, right? And that's the reality for countless of other students. So again, the intention is not to replace the face-to-face interactive processes. A lot of people kind of get that notion when technology is brought into the conversation. No, again, it is to make life more accessible, a bit more easier. Of course, we want a balanced approach. We will be pushing through for stuff like orientation as well as promoting it as well.
Yeah, and following up with that, orientation is 1 day. I'm going to be here for 4 years. So after that initial orientation day, when I have to get to ST21 the next day, I'm not sure. I know you said it's a good opportunity for you to connect with students, but I don't think the USC community wants to have to engage in conversations about problems. Right? We should be engaging.
1 minute. Guys, we want to hear the candidates, please. As I said in the beginning, respect is due for when persons are speaking. Don't make me call your name on this mic. One more time. As you were saying, continue.
My apologies. So yeah, we want to provide a digital map. You know, you have Google Maps, you can go down to Street View and you can really see where exactly the classes are. So one thing to know where your class is, but to be able to look on your phone and see it. So you know when you share location, you're at the right place. So we want permanent change, not just a one-day event. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. Firstly, for SPAY, you say for the chatbot, to be effective for it to work, it needs continuous updating of the information. When you graduate, who is going to be upkeeping that chatbot? That's 1. And 2, for rebuild. Your vice president is in his 2nd year. My question is, as a senior, how can we trust him to create an effective yearbook that portrays our our experience in USC for the past 4 years? And he's only been here for 2 of it.
Spare, then rebuild.
Okay, so to answer your question, SPARE focuses on continuity. As someone with a background in tech, right, something that's very important is documentation. So we intend to document how the bot operates, who built it, and all these different aspects, and not only that, have it as a project under Virtua. So I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know about Virtua, but that's our university's computer science club. We have a lot of technological and very brilliant minds in that club. So we intend to collaborate with that club, which I've already talked about with the president, Asia Hoyt, and have these processes documented so they can live on far beyond our presence on the campus. Thanks.
So I feel like the limitation with your chatbot is it relies on human inputs of the information, right? Why not work with the administration to improve their website and implement your chatbot there instead of creating a whole new one? Because do you know what it is to be a freshman who already have to navigate this campus life, this university life, fresh out of CXC, and you go from, okay, your school website have everything, university, the USC hub, WhatsApp group, cool, that have everything, but now you know you have to navigate the school website and the next website.
Okay, so have you ever worked with the administration before?
Can you repeat, sorry?
Have you ever worked with the administration before, by any chance?
Have I ever worked for the administration?
Yeah.
With the administration? Yes, I have.
Okay, so in terms of the speed that we see things go from idea to reality, would you say it's quick, or is it typically timely?
If it's quick?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everything has a timely manner, and I believe that the same time you took to create a whole new website, I'm not saying it would have reached the same distance if you worked with the school, but it made more sense if you work with the administration to help improve their website, because there's a thin line between doing the school's job and doing the ASB's job.
Correct, correct. And I just want to add that no one from SPARE is in office yet. We can't get permission to go and build and enhance the school's website, and we're not in office. It's one of the things listed on our manifesto. What you see just now is simply an MVP, a minimal viable product, proven that SPARE could deliver. We could create an entire new website from scratch, and you don't think we could improve an existing one? So that's my answer.
I would just like to add to what is being said. So I have worked with the administration. I've worked with every administrator before. And I would say that the processes and things happen in a timely manner once you understand how the administration works. And again, one of the major issues that I have seen around is that in the past we have had student leaders who come up but are not always involved in campus life and not always involved in administrative processes or worked with the administration, which is one of the major challenges that ASB faces. Because when you come in and you don't understand how the administrative processes work, you take almost the entire of the first semester to understand how to navigate this, how to navigate that, and then your term is finished because it's just 8 months. You were speaking about virtual. I have had encounters with the club, but what other things has virtual produced that students have access to right now that could reflect that the potential chatbot, which again I think should just be in addition to what the university has, if approved, what has virtual produced that would show efficiency with that?
Okay, so when it comes to virtual, I was only recently instated as the project manager. And in my time so far, I led and saw the success for our Open Day and Career Expo. We had 2 days. 2 days to deliver something that we could present. And we put our minds together, we looked at the resources we had, and we came up with really good presentations. We had a voice AI agent, we had an expo where persons could play subway surfers with the actual in-life, like real persons, right, with their own movements. And all of this is well documented on Virtuo's page, even on our LinkedIn, because at the end of the day, we want to see things documented. And in order to deliver, we have to document. So, yeah, I still look forward to hearing about the sponsors and the partnerships that you guys have planned. Yeah.
Before you guys answer, just to add on to, just to give some additional.
Sorry?
Oh, right. I was just giving some additional context to Juju's question. Fun fact about the chatbot, talks have, I would have already engaged with talks with the school's webmaster integrated into the website. And that was about, I think 3 to 4 months ago, and we've had that conversation, and it still hasn't happened. Obviously, not his fault. There are just some things that the school needs to get done. The school, the administration has its own priorities. So when it comes to making ourselves available to integrate new technology, new information, and so on, there is a bottleneck. There's a big bottleneck. So that is why we went ahead and we released it on our own. Part of our philosophy as well is that we want to give the ASB something, the ASB and by extension the students, something that they can own. So as of right now, this is something the students own, as well as the website. I've been hearing talks about ASB should have its own website and so on and so forth. It's finally here. So we want to give students a sense of, and the ASB a sense of ownership. And in addition to that philosophy, we also want to be in a position where we can act as a leg of support for the administration, as opposed to using finance as a crutch and so on and so forth. And we believe this is one of the ways we can provide additional support to the administration. Again, when the administration is ready, integration is possible. It's possible. And I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, it's possible. And yeah, so when they're ready, when that time comes, we will assimilate. But for now, this is just a proof of concept, just letting you guys know that, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we are giving you guys. And yeah, so when the administration is ready, we assimilate. Hope that answers your question.
So we allow Rebuild to answer the question posed to you guys.
Yes, I was just going to say, I think my VP
Mario
has a response.
Yes, thank you very much, Team Impact, for that very important question, and I can see why you would ask that. As a second year student, I am well equipped to serve as vice president, specifically working along with the graduating class to ensure that they have a yearbook that is up to standard and one that they can look back at and be proud of. I would have served as the vice president of my graduating class in high school, and that would have prepared me to serve in a similar role because the things I had to do were similar. And another thing that equips me to serve in this position, although I am in my second year, is that I would have spoken with the current ASB vice president, Ms. Shante Price, and she would have told me about her experience and the challenges she would have faced, things that I should look out for, and things that I can improve on if I am elected by you, the student body. Lastly, I would just like to say that I have been very involved in campus activity, and I know the things that happen around campus. So I would be able to ensure that those things are captured and documented in the yearbook if I am elected by the student body. Thank you.
All right. All right, so we have a few students in the chat. I need to ask these questions. There's a lot of questions, but the pinned ones are for Team Sphere. All right. Team Spare's question is, this post request to remain anonymous. All right, the question is, when it comes to transparency and accountability, is it a smart move to have your partner as your admin assistant? Within the corporate world, this can be seen as a conflict of interest. How do you plan to rectify this image?
Pardon, can you repeat it?
Within for transparency and accountability, when it comes to the corporate world, is it a smart move to have your partner as your admin assistant? Within the corporate world, as mentioned before, this can be viewed as a conflict of interest.
I'm not the person targeted for this question, so I won't be able to answer.
Right, so I'm going to answer the transparency and accountability question. So fun fact on the platform and a part of our communication strategy, we intend to visually communicate our milestones, everything we have planned. Also on the platform, we actually have a section for each director for them to delineate their tasks, subtasks, and timelines so that everyone can see what is happening, when it's happening, at a given date, at a given time, what are the hiccups and so on. You can check it out. We keep things professional. I vetted everyone on my team, and so all of them are competent and capable for the roles they are currently vying for. Thank you.
And lastly, all right. Thank you, Vernon. Lastly, few more. Team Sphere, with the effectiveness of the chatbot, will academic advisors lose their jobs because they will no longer be needed?
No, AI isn't here to replace. Our mode is that AI is here to augment, right? I don't see how you would have expected that AI would be able to replace advisors. As you guys know, when it comes to picking courses, a lot of the time you have to directly reach out to lecturers and so forth to have issues clarified with regards to getting courses. So, no, AI is not here to replace, it is here to augment. I could go console my chatbot, get a general understanding of what may come next, and then still go to my advisor and get expert advice to back it up. So, yeah.
All right.
Just to add on to Mark's statement, just to give additional context. Right now, At this stage, the chatbot is frequently asked questions chatbot when it comes to giving advice or guidance that is not its intended role at this stage. So yeah, just to keep in mind, keep that in mind.
All right, and next question for every VP as we try to. Thank you very much, audience. Spirituality is a big topic and a major pillar of the university. How do you seek to improve the spiritual atmosphere of USC's current nature? Anyone can answer?
I guess I could go ahead and answer first, right? I would say that, and one of the requirements, to be the president is having the same similar spiritual philosophy as the university, amongst other things. I would say that I have in past positions like Director of Spiritual Awareness and being the Iconic Student Coordinator. When I was the Director of Spiritual Awareness, we implemented a new program that, Freshers Week, usually you just have a week of activities, whatever. I collaborated with the Director of Social and Cultural Activities Director then to end the Freshers Week with a Bring People to Jesus campaign. So all those commuting students who were coming for Freshers Week, we encouraged them to come out and provided lunch and food for them, and we had a great turnout at church. We saw some of those students continue to come in for a week of prayer. When I was the Director of Spiritual Awareness as well, we had an increased turnout in the students who attend week of prayer, and showing that as well, students would participate, and we had about eight students at that point in time from the various schools who participated in Student Week of Prayer. Even as Iconic Student Coordinator, we see that there was an increase in registration for students in the Iconic ministries. That's because we ensured that we started off the school year with registration outreach activity. We were set up right out there, and students were passing during classes. We interacted with them, and I must say that the spirituality of the campus is at heart for me. This would be elevated in the continuation of the Bring People to Jesus campaign. It didn't happen last year. We would have hoped for it to continue. So it would be elevated by that, and working alongside with the iConnect and the Ministerial Association, as my Director of Spiritual Awareness specifically states in her manifesto, working along with those spiritual entities to elevate the spiritual life of students on campus.
To speak for myself as a vice presidential candidate, on my established manifesto, I have an imposed idea where we can have faculty-based focus and prayer groups, so where each student can feel like they are valued, even in their own faculties. We may be stressed during exams or throughout the entire semester. Okay, thank you.
So VP question as we prepare to. Right, so yes, so before at least we have the president to say something before we add our finishing touches to this debate. So welcome our university president gave his finishing thoughts before we close up the various things.
Well, I want you to put your hands together for the teams. When I was ASB vice president when I was a student here, And I don't remember us having something like this. So I want to applaud the organizers for doing this. And as I listened, a number of ideas that came to my head based on what you said. So I am eager to meet with all of the teams to read the manifesto. Is it available for me to read? Yes. Okay, I thought it was hidden somewhere. It's not hidden. Because the ideas I heard, I certainly would want to follow up and learn from what you guys are thinking. 14 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is sounds like a rich set of ideas. I'm fascinated to learn more about what you're thinking about your university, and thank you for being so passionate about making things better here at USC. And together, I think we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And I know that whoever is elected on Thursday will work directly with the university president to make sure the ocean experience is much better than before. All right, so as I get the questions, I'm wrapping up as one. I'm scrolling through the multiple questions I have here. The VP question still stands. The question is, while your role heavily involves delivering the yearbook in a timely manner, how capable are you in dealing with delays and setbacks, as well as students who are frustrating as well? Sorry, there's a lot of emphasis on the word. While your role heavily involves delivering the yearbook in a timely manner, how capable are you in dealing with delays and setbacks, as well as students who are frustrating as well?
Well, I'm heavily pushing for communication with all the students. So I am very competent in my transparency. I will tell the students all the different setbacks when it comes to regards to the yearbook. Thank you.
All right.
So once again, Team Impact's motto and mantra continuously has been transparency and communication, and setbacks are unfortunately something that no matter the initiative and the plan you have, that's something that will happen, and dealing with those as they come, it's something that you're going to have to employ a lot of empathy with and a lot of sympathy to the situation. You can plan months in advance, and then a manufacturer decides the pages that you ordered months in advance just not available for the book anymore. You're going to have to find a way to reroute your ideas and have access to different resources, connections, different available streams for you to reroute these setbacks so that it does not alter the entire process, but that you're able to navigate them in such a way that it does not cause your entire yearbook, the entire graduation experience to be halted. That's for one. In terms of frustrated students, that's inevitable. As you're getting near to graduation, I know how I feel. I kind of just want the process to happen as quickly, to walk this stage and be in my cap and gown as fast as possible. And other students feel that same way. Again, being student-centered and student-focused and understanding and employing the right amount of empathy to the situation. You understand these and you can work alongside them. At the end of the day, a VP is to bridge the gap between your execs, your presidents, and be that voice of the students to make sure that they are well heard. And if their grievances and their voices are, we are frustrated right now, we need at least a day or two to just hold off on these testimonials. You're asking me to take pictures on a day when my hairdresser didn't organize myself, and now I just don't want to take the photo or don't want to see it. You have to be mindful of these things, and you reroute plans to suit. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yes. So, as it relates to delays, I plan to start working early, because when you have those delays, starting early would give us more time to adjust and be flexible, to adjust to whatever challenges we may face. And another thing with dealing with students who may be frustrated during the entire process. I am a very calm person, and I would be able to handle the situation respectfully and ensure that I listen to their concern and see how best I can address it. And another thing that I believe would be a good thing to do is to incorporate giving out, maybe encouraging memory texts or quotes to the students of the graduating class through the Acts of Kindness initiative. And that would, make them feel better and not as frustrated with the entire process of graduation, or if maybe a family member would have died. An act of kindness can be done to show them that we as the ASB are there for them and we care about them and their well-being.
All right.
Well, I want to start by saying that, once again, the yearbook is a project. It's a clear goal and it's a clear deadline. So I'll be approaching it like I did any other project in my past 18 months of technical experience with developing and delivering solutions in the financial industry. I also have previous project manager experience. I was the project manager for an NGO called Youth Vision, where I spearheaded the raising of 10,000 TTWs through a Plant a Tree initiative. So I'm not new when it comes to fundraising. I'm not new when it comes to beautification. And I'm also not new when it comes to delivering projects on time and within budget. So I'm not just making empty promises. This is what I do for all of it. That's it.
All right. Final question for Rebuild. You mentioned bridging the gap between international and local students. Why did you put together a team predominantly made up of international students? Community students have already indicated that they prefer representation. What was the thought process?
Well, I must say that my thought process was to ensure that we have individuals who will be able to deliver and who are experienced in the campus life. Let's get that foundational. It's not that I approached every dormitory student to, be a part of a team. There were many, and we also do have national students on the team, I must say. There were national students who, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Mr. Chair, there are national students who approached and they did not desire to run for the associated student body. Simple as put. Therefore, it is important that we have individuals not based on nationality or whether they are foreign, but individuals who will be able to deliver. As we said, the manifestos are not set in stone. Therefore, we need student leaders who have the experience in student leadership, who are involved in campus and who don't just show up for campaigning sake, but have been around working with students and doing what is necessary even before positions, who are ready to serve students and have been serving students already.
All right. So I believe that's quite enough for the debates. All right. So we will allow each candidate to give their closing statement. As known already, we have elections on Thursday at 7 a.m. It will be the link, the ballot link will be sent via your emails, your USC email on Thursday, 7 a.m. and closes at 7 p.m. So we encourage all students to secure your votes on that day. So we have our closing statements from each candidate. You have 30 seconds, 30 seconds to wrap up your closing statement. All right, we can begin. Belfon, as you're already speaking.
Thank you so much. So tonight or this afternoon, we heard lots of ambitions, lots of expansive ideas, lots of impressive things. I would advise that you do not let flashy plans drive your decisions, but we need a student leader who would be able to take the student body forward, a student leader who has shown the experience and who has been in your position, who has led students in the past.
Thank you. Anyone else can continue? Just keep the fire burning.
Okay. So I will leave you with one thought, and that is not just a vote for me, but a vote for impact is one that is meant to have change that works for you. Our goal is to create a school environment that is safe, connected, and you feel like it's worth staying in. We don't want to offer you grand, empty promises, but meaningful things and initiatives that was developed by students for students. USC is more than a school for us, it is a community, but for it to thrive, you need a leader that listens, plans, and delivers. We want to transform the campus from a simple place that you just go to class to a place that feels welcoming and feels like home. So, as we said, voting for impact means we want to impact today and build a legacy for tomorrow.
All right.
Like our chair mentioned, this campaign started up with an entire array of teams. This entire process, election process, was very different from the others. So, given that we decided to come with something new, we put our heads together to deliver something different. All I will say is look at the deliverables and stay sharp and choose precision. That is all.
All right.
Every student deserves to feel heard, respected, and supported, regardless of their background and circumstances or struggles. And as your Vice President, I will advocate for students who feel overlooked, to work to strengthen communication between leadership and the student body, and to help create a campus environment where everyone feels valued and included. Leadership is not about status, it's about using your position to uplift others, to address real needs, and to stand for fairness and accountability. That is the kind of leadership I am prepared to offer.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to say, I'm not running for vice president to make promises, but I'm running to deliver results, to ensure that every student is not only heard, but represented through real action. To make sure your yearbook and graduation don't just mark the end of a chapter, but reflect every voice, every story, and every achievement that brought us here. Leadership to me is not about standing above others, it's about standing with you. Listening, adapting, and working together to build something meaningful, because unity isn't just a word, it is a responsibility. I am United Encore.
All right, thank you.
I just want to say thank you to all of the brave persons that decided to run. First of all, thanks to all the persons that made this possible. I really have much to say. I mean, you guys could check the website, check our manifestos. We have actual deliverables, actual timelines, and actual budgets. Many of my candidates have also advocated for various different change. I've been acting. So do you want advocacy or do you want action? I'll leave it with that.
Lemario?
Yes. Tonight we've heard a lot of the plans, but at the end of the day, it's not just about what is said, but it's about what is actually done. As the Vice President, I am committed to ensuring that every promise is backed by structure, accountability, and we will follow through. I am Lemario Clark Demir, a VP who listens and a VP who delivers. Make the right choice and vote for Team Rebuild.
All right. So I thank all of our candidates. Everyone went right? Everybody went right? Okay, good. For the contributions, it was a very well delivered debate, if I must say so myself. Let's applaud our candidates, everyone. All right. We almost 3 hours in, and we really heard every response. I know not many questions were answered or asked, but after the fact, you guys can approach them or text them separately your various questions that they can answer. Remember, Thursday at 7 a.m. is your chance to cast your votes. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Let's try not to repeat other years, past years, where you text or email asking to vote after the fact. So please ensure you utilize this period to vote for either Team Rebuild, Impact, Spear, or independent candidate, Ezekiel. Sorry, United Encore. My apologies, Mr. Ezekiel. On Thursday at 7 a.m. Once again, guys, everything that was said here is for you to think back on, to internalize, and to ensure that you make the right choice on that day. So, vote wisely, and may the best team/individual win. Let's start as we pray. We'll ask Ms. Eugene to pray for us, our outgoing student workers director, to pray for us. Oh, as she comes, I must as well give a shout out to the outgoing ASB. Your time in. Okay, I was supposed to say guys at the best. Okay, your time as the ASB was really memorable, and I pray that you guys can teach those coming in and train those coming in to effectively lead going forward. So to the current outgoing ASB, kudos to you and congratulations on your end of your tenure.
Good evening, everyone. Bow your heads as we pray. Dear Lord Jesus, we thank you for the time well spent. We thank you for this debate, which was a success. We pray, dear God, that the best team or the best individuals win. Please go before this election day and allow it to be one of the best ones we've seen. This we ask in my prayer. Amen.
All right, thank you guys for coming, and see you guys on Thursday.